Okay, so welcome everyone who's starting to join already. I'm going to give it a few more moments to let some more folks trickle in, and then I will get started sharing a bit about today's presentation. My name is Bo Latozo. I'm with Acelab. We're hosting the event, and Heather Bergeron from Western Window Systems is going to be presenting today. All right. See, looks like we've got some folks joining in, so I'm going to go ahead and start just a quick demo about Acelab, let you know about who is presenting today's event, and show you a quick demo of our site before handing it over to Heather. All right, so as I said, my name is Bo. My background is in architecture. I studied architecture at Tulane and worked at firms in New York, such as OMA, before joining onto Acelab as an architectural product specialist. So now my job is really to work with architects who are using our platform, help them out to use our data to do their building product research. All right, so to give you a quick snapshot of our team, these are a few of our leaders. We all come from architectural backgrounds and formed Acelab to really start solving the problems that we were experiencing in practice and really provide resources for architects in our community. So this, I just like to show a little graphic of kind of the problems that we were experiencing that drove Acelab into creation. So often product research can be a little disjointed. Finding the products that you need, having like a really centralized database, getting in touch with product experts, all of this can be a lot easier said than done. So Acelab has built a data-driven tool where it's really a one place to communicate, collaborate, find research, save your projects, and all of that good stuff. So over here, we recently also redesigned our homepage, so that's something we're excited to share with you all. I'm going to sign in and just show you a quick snapshot of how my account looks. And you can see how you can also look for Western Window Systems products on Acelab. All right, so once I sign in, I've got this great library dashboard view where I can see all the data that I've been saving and storing as I've been using Acelab. So my searches that I've been looking into, I can save a name to pick up where I've left off, products, conversations, and projects. So you really get this quick snapshot anytime you sign in. Bring you over quickly to the project portal. This is the easiest way to kind of get started with storing your research on Acelab, is to upload a few projects. It's a pretty flexible system, so whether you're uploading a residence or just kind of a general research or firm standards folder, just kind of works as these great buckets to be able to start to organize your products. And then to show you the product library real quick, so anytime you save a product, whether you save it to a project or just to a general location, it'll all show up here in your product library. And you can see here that when I've saved it to a project, it's tagged. So everything's super organized. I can always plug in quickly and see if I've used something before or if I'm thinking of using something on an upcoming project. And I can also filter this by category. We have all of these categories here with great visual search tools. And if you're looking for a manufacturer like Western Window Systems and you know that, you can just type that into this top bar, head over to their page. And Acelab also has these great manufacturer pages where we've organized manufacturer data all in the same way across the page. You can directly ask questions to reps. You can also scroll down to see more information about their products. I'll jump over to a product page real quick to show you how over here, we've got a lot of information about products on our site, all hosted in this like really great graphic style. But if you are not finding any of the information that you need, or you'd like quotes, lead times, some more specific information, it's really easy to request that through Acelab. So you can just submit a request, and then someone from our team will put you in touch with the right person to fulfill that information. All right, so the last thing I want to show you, this is also a new thing that we're really excited about. So you can now communicate through Acelab directly. So no more jumping from a research platform to a phone call. You can really just quickly get in touch with a person through the app. And you can also tag it to a project, so you don't have to repeat your project details over and over again. It'll be saved here. You can send attachments back and forth. So this works really well as a great collaboration portal. All right, so that is it for me. And if you are interested in learning more about Acelab, you can feel free to email me afterwards. My email is right here. It's just bo@acelabusa.com. We're happy to give you a free demo if you're interested in learning more about how you can use Acelab for your product research. And yeah, that is it for me. A few more things I want to mention logistically. AIA credits, we will be reporting those for you. So that should happen, shortly after the event. Q&A as well. We'll have some time for questions at the end of today's event. So you can submit those during the presentation. We'll try to get to as many as we can. We can also answer some during the presentation over chat. So feel free to submit questions throughout the whole presentation. If we don't get to your question, we will follow up with you after over email. And that is it for me. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Heather Bergeron, and she can get started with today's AIA-approved presentation on Windows to the World. All right. Heather, you should be able to share your screen whenever you're ready.
Can you see?
Yep, I can see.
Good afternoon and good morning, everybody. My name is Heather Bergeron. I'm the architectural consultant for the state of Texas for Western Window Systems. I've been with Western Window Systems for 5 years now. My previous position was a custom sales representative for the Houston territory, as well as 2 other states. And I took on this role as an architectural consultant at the beginning of last year. Just to kind of introduce Western a little bit, we are a single source custom aluminum window and door manufacturer with a focus of large openings of moving glass walls and a full product line of fixed and operable windows. Sorry. So today, we are a registered provided manufacturer with the AIA Institute. So you will be getting credit, as Bo mentioned earlier. It's 1 credit hour HSW. This presentation.
One moment, Heather, I'm noticing some folks are saying your audio is echoing a bit.
Maybe I need to turn it down a little bit. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. Here. Is that better?
No, it's still echoey for me.
Let's see. Well, no. Maybe I should put my earbuds in.
Yeah, maybe try that. Sorry, folks. Give us 1 moment. Appreciate the patience and for everyone letting us know that you were having trouble understanding.
Just a second. Is that better?
Yes, that's better for me.
Okay. Sorry. So our presentation is copyrighted by the U.S. and international copyright law. So therefore, reproduction, distribution, display, or use of this presentation without written permission of us, as far as Western Window Systems and myself, is prohibited. So our learning objectives today that we're going to cover is we're going to implement the general principles of designing with multi-slides and bifolding types of operable glass walls. We're going to list the benefits of using multi-slide and bifolding openings, including sustainability and return on investment considerations. We're going to describe the basic technical issues as well as ratings and applicable codes that govern the use of multi-slide bifolding fenestration systems. And then we're also going to cover certain features and options of these fenestration systems, such as hardware and glass types. So our title today is Windows to the World, Going Big with Operable Glass Walls. As you can see here within this photo, you can see all the capabilities that is included into this particular project. We have some casements in the glass wall system. We have a multi-slide here that is biparting. We have some fixed units. So here is an example of what an operable glass wall system would look like. So whenever you're project planning within a multi-slide or a bifolding wall systems into your project, you're going to review the information with like a building engineer, city engineer, and you're going to consider all of the installation criteria within that project. So therefore, you'll go over every envelope of the window and door that the manufacturer has to offer as an industry in indoor and outdoor living. You're also going to determine long-term performance attributes and obviously considered green building criteria, ensure water resistance, energy efficiency, and construction assemblies within that project. So on your front end planning, you have performance specifications that you'll review, structural loading factors with the structural engineer. You have the option of also including the ratio of glazed area to your framing area. Considered your full facility life cycles of that particular project. And you're going to match their performance with other buildings, systems, and their lifetime performance. There are many different varied applications within these systems, whether that is a commercial project and an application, institutional, including universities, whether that's K through 12 or any of University of Phoenix, any like UT, A&M, University of California, University of Florida, any of those universities, these systems can also be included into those particular kind of projects. You're accessing these particular openings to the outdoors. You're adding light, air, and you're not obstructing any views. You're maintaining the connections and visibility to any of the adjacent spaces. And then again, you have special applications for flexibility, whether that is classrooms, workspaces, in an office setting, whether that's a conference room or not necessarily cubicles, but just a workspace application in an office. And then of course, indoor outdoor living, which would be hospitality, restaurants, resorts, and residential applications. So critical technical pinpoints. So when you're looking for a particular system, you want to consider the air tightness, any moisture resistant structural performance, whether that's your design pressures or your performance grade, energy efficiencies, and your dual pane insulated panels, low E366 glass, which is a standard mostly in most of the areas here. If you have triple pane options, depending on where you're located in the nation, and of course, moisture protection, whether that's water barrier sills, minimalist sills, your flush sills, etc. Want to cover too on additional pinpoints is that DP ratings do matter here across the nation. Everybody is different depending on the design pressure of the particular system, depending on the size that you're looking to incorporate. And then you also want to think about, critical green building, your NFRC certifications, your ANSI standard, and then of course your AMA performance ratings. Economic and market factors. So there are many business cases for operable glass wall systems. So by including multi-slides or bifolding systems into your space, you're improving the sales of that particular project, depending on what location of that space that you're looking to incorporate the opening into, whether that's residential or commercial. Also, your leasing values. So when you're incorporating these projects, you can tend to necessarily have more improvements and investments into the space. So you're able to charge a little bit more to your tenants, or, if you're in a restaurant, per table and having these systems. So you're leaning more on the indoor-outdoor spaces, your sustainable design benefits, including these particular systems into your projects, and then the overall appeal of the operable facades are in various sectors. Incremental revenue. So again, you are able to get more return on investment in your revenue whenever you're incorporating these particular systems into your project. So therefore, not all the time is everywhere in the US, right, where we get 4 seasons. There are some states that do get 4 seasons, but here I am in Texas and we don't necessarily get 4 seasons. It's most of the time hot, and sometimes we get into triple digits. So therefore, you want to consider the climate and the weather with these systems. So there's some areas where you have to include misters or the air walls, you know, to keep everything cool, so everyone is able to enjoy having more natural air, having that natural light, and they're wanting to be outdoors more. In the cooler climates, you have radiant heat lamps if you want to sit outside and not necessarily be indoors. Fire pits and fans are also an option to consider. And then, of course, you know, your flexibility for the real estate, you're increasing those application options. And so you're able to extend the season of use of having these bifolding and multi-slide openings. So whenever you're looking at an operable glass wall, you have that self-esteem booster. So you have this sexy glass wall that's in this space and you're like, man, this makes me happy. I'm getting fresh air. I wanna stay in this space longer. So it makes you a happier person. So it makes a significant lifestyle difference whenever you're incorporating this particular system into your space. Again, you're able to incorporate around a pool area, whether that's a cabana or pool area in a hospitality or off of the residential area of a home. You're able to open up the indoor-outdoor feel, able to get additional square footage there to where, you know, you're not stuck indoors. You're able to move around about the space. Here's another photo of a project where pocketing systems are incorporated into this project. So instead of having systems that are just stacking to one side or biparting to one side, you're able to pocket the systems to where you don't have to actually see the panels of the project, and it makes more of a trimmed out finish. So your casing of what you're wanting to show. Not necessarily are these particular systems used in just in contemporary modern applications. You're able to also incorporate these systems into a craftsman style or traditional style trend as well. So here again, a multi-slide that is able to add the additional square footage of a small space by incorporating the indoor-outdoor living. The benefits of increasing of glazing. So by increasing the space with more operable glass walls, you're adding more daylight, you're reducing your electrical lighting, whether that's your recessed cans or your fixtures within the home or on the porch area. Wellness and energy use, you get natural cooling. Again, you're increasing fresh indoor-outdoor air. Architectural benefits. It's going to be a very big curb appeal to the tenant or to the homeowner or to the guests that are staying in a particular space that, you know, architecturally, it's going to make them happy and benefit them that they're in this space and that they're enjoying seeing these huge glass walls and not having anything obstructing their view. Therefore, you're boosting that exterior access to them. You're creating outdoor rooms, indoor-outdoor activities, whether that's volleyball or racquetball, whatever activity that everybody likes to enjoy. Another benefit is the psychological benefit. So you're showcasing the outdoor experience and happiness within this space. So you have this small space here and you're transforming that by expanding the window wall system into a small area. So you're capturing that outdoor square footage. The appearance is with larger interiors, you get that psychological appeal. You're adding daylight. Nothing is maximizing your view. And you're transforming and expanding a smaller space into a larger interior. Different system types and configurations. So you have a stacking option if you're using a multi-slide, or a pocketing options, which we covered previously in some other projects that have been in the past. Framing materials could be aluminum or aluminum clad. Finishes can be anodized finishes or painted finishes, whether depending on your manufacturer, you prefer to use their particular painted finishes, which is typically a 2605 finish, or you can go custom paint. So you can match any Sherwin-Williams, any Behr paints, any Benjamin Moore paints. All you have to do is just provide an actual color chip sample, and then that manufacturer can match, and then you have to sign off on it. Your frame thickness can be anywhere up to 2 inches. And then you have different frame profiles, whether that's a bevel leg or a contemporary leg, or you have simulated divided light. Bifolding systems. You never want to order a system that doesn't have stainless steel tracks. Having stainless steel tracks is easier access of having that particular system operate efficiently. It's more of a fit and finish look. Whether you're bifolding biparting, or you're adding something that's stacking to one side, whether you have a personal door or a daily door, whether that's on the jamb, or if it's actually on the panels and you're stacking it to one side. So you may include a single or a double swing door. The doors, depending on the manufacturer, also match a hinge door option. So if you have a bifolding in a pool cabana or off of the porch area onto a pool, if you have a hinge door, say for instance, off of a breakfast area or a dining area, you're able to match that hinge door with a bifolding door. Again, stainless steel rollers, lock and track guides, thermally broken frames, and low E 366 dual pane glass, and then your frame and finish options. Sliding glass door systems or a single track system, you get the option of 2-panel, 3-panel, or 4-panel stackable options. OX, XO, OXO, OXXO, depending on your type of different configurations. You can go custom depending on your manufacturer. You can ask that request. Again, frame and finish options, you have that narrow profile frame. That's about 2 inches. And of course, you know, depending on the manufacturer, you have other varied options to choose from. Energy considerations are taken into account here. Again, thermally broken frames, low E 366 glass, depending on where you're located, and then smooth hardware of various different styles. Window walls give you a large glass expansion that's supported from floor to floor. So here in this particular photo, you can see that they're stacked units mold horizontally here in a direct set application. You can also add awnings in a particular application here, not just direct sets, depending if you're wanting to open up this bathroom area and have more airflow. So again, you have very operable, accessible options here. You're able to also in window walls incorporate a swinging or a hinge door option. You can also mull direct sets in a window wall to a sliding glass door, as well as a multi-slide or bifolding door with additional structure by others. And then you also, again, have the casement and hopper options depending on where you're located and what your clients prefer and have their preference. Looking at this facade here, there is a desired window to wall ratio whenever you're building that orientation of a particular project. On On average, you're anywhere from about 40 to 80% whenever you're looking into the building orientation here, as far as the rough openings of this particular project. So therefore, you have more daylight availability, more heat and glare that you're thinking about here. So that's where the window to wall ratio comes in. And again, your key energy codes, whether depending on your DP ratings and your performance grade. So general principles here. So architectural strategies for glazing and shading, you're wanting to reduce unwanted heat gain within that window to wall ratio. And again, maximizing useful daylight harvesting. Again, you want to consider your key variable data, whether that's NFRC, all your solar heat gain coefficients, your VTs, your U factors. That's also going to depend on where your project will be located here in the US. Depending on the manufacturer, whenever you're having a project and you have that manufacturer work on with their partners and quoting, this particular information should be provided to you within their quoting copies or within their system, so that you know exactly the units of what they're rating or what they have been tested for. So depending on what product of your choosing of the window to wall ratio, some products allow for higher performance rating than others. So for code compliances, for a particular project, you're very, the methods between performance and prescriptive. You have design trade-offs within those decisions and what your preference is. So larger, more efficient windows and doors, and then you have that increased insulation into your opaque systems. So therefore, more installation that you have to consider whenever you're having these large operating windows and walls. General principles of design. Glass and frame types are important for your energy performance and the comfort of the actual building. So therefore, green building varies, right, with multi-slides and bifold glass openings. You're considering certified wood if you have a wood clad option, recycled materials of aluminum. A lot of aluminum is up to 50% highly recycled material, with other materials being about 5%, depending on the manufacturer. You also have the options of whenever you have shipping of cardboard, depending on the manufacturer, they might use recyclable materials as well. And then again, your manufacturer is providing that NFRC and AMA documentation there. Again, your design pressures do matter within your project. So manufacturers are able to provide their testing data to actually know what size of the unit that unit is going to be performance rated at. So you have anywhere up to 25 being a minimum, up to 100 depending on the actual size of the unit. So therefore, you're looking for that particular system to be specified over long-term performance. So your product craftsmanship for long-term performance is all included within those decisions and your preference here. The uses of benefits and return on investments. So within this particular project here, obviously it's a restaurant project or a coffee shop, bakery area, to where they're opening up the space here for clients to sit at a table longer and actually enjoy having their social hour and not having to rush off. They're able to sit here and work in this space longer, have conference calls if they needed. So they're able to have a little bit more empathy and being able to be happier. Market differentiation here, you're accessing those outdoor amenities, displays in recreational periods. Again, we're here year round or seasonal. You're distincting yourself from the competition. So instead of having a client that would like to more possibly have like a hinge door option with a single hung on the side, you're able to, again, open up that space and have good on return on investment. And it distincts yourself from that competition and that word of mouth saying, hey, this particular architect or contractor that I'm working with, instead of just having just a standard kind of configuration or operation, they actually incorporate multi-slides or bifolding systems into their space. So you're helping draw and retain people from that, whether that is customers, tenants, or again, if you're into like commercial or school systems, students, or within universities. Flexibility here within this space could be a library in a K through 12 or a private school area. So you have a bifolding system here to where the students can be happier and they're able to actually enjoy being outdoors and not be inside in an area all day long. That they're able to collaborate more and actually get more of their work done instead of waiting until the end of the day at home and being stuck indoors. They're able to have that indoor outdoor living and within that space, so therefore they're happier. Conference areas would be another example of where you can incorporate a bifold or multi-slide. There have been automobile showrooms. Instead of having just a fixed wall area, you're able to open up that automobile showroom there. And then different varied applications of the configuration that you're looking for. Incremental revenue, again, you're increasing your property value or your resale value of your space. You're improving your sales or your customer or tenant satisfaction. Again, we're here being happier, living better. So you're getting more curb appeal, more attraction, and you're expanding that floor area. So instead of just having a small square footage space of an actual building or a residential project, you're able to, again, to expand your square footage on the exterior and have additional seating around the area. Water management systems for operable glass walls. So within a multi-slide door systems, you do have an option of subfloor drainage system. So you're not obstructing any rolling glass panels. So you're stacking the flush of the panels to add those additional wide openings. So therefore, this particular water management system is a seamless flooring transition into a commercial or residential application. Gives you that high quality finish, and then you're able to have the sealed bearing polymer rollers within the system. Again, you're tested. Good manufacturers always provide testing data or performance data sheets on the particular systems that you're looking to incorporate into your project. Wind load or water infiltration information. Again, you look at your certifications, whether that's NFRC or AMA, you want to always make sure that the manufacturer that you're looking to incorporate in your project is AMA certified. Different seals for water management. So you have high leg or high performance water barrier seals. They come in different sizes and pressure ratings on depending on that particular system that has been tested. You do have a weep hole system on the exterior of that particular system that safeguards the interior from any water intrusion. Also, you want to make sure that you have the proper overhang as well, because here in Texas, we get wind-driven rain. I'm sure there's other parts of the US that also gets wind-driven rain as well, that you want to make sure that you have the proper water protection against rain protruding into any indoor space. You also have the option for flush sill with proper overhang. It lines up with most interior flooring. You also have the option of recessing the flooring into that space. So again, providing a smooth transition to the outside. Again, your weeping hole, have weeping holes that allow the water to drain away from the system. And then you have your hidden seamless sills. So this particular sill can be offset. Again, you have seamless flooring from the inside to the outside. This hidden sill would be depending on the type of flooring application you're using, whether that's concrete or tile. That's particularly the flooring application that you would see these hidden sills in. Obviously, you don't want to use wood in between here. There's no way for this system to weep away, so therefore you would have to have it drained by others. Installation and application notes. So every entrance of design must weigh an aesthetics against life cycle costs and operations. So not all operable glass openings are created equal, right? So you always want to make sure that within the design and make sure that during the installation process that all your openings are plumb level square, or else a system is not going to operate smoothly and efficiently like it should. You're going to have issues later down the road. You may run into a situation where maybe a bifolding or a multi-slide unit might not be able to fit into the project budget. There are other options as far as value engineering, and you can do that with a sliding glass door. Or if later down the road, if a client changes their mind, they can do change orders during construction, and they don't want a sliding glass door and they need to save a little bit more cost. Because due to the life cycle cost of the project, things could tend to go up if they have change orders. You can choose like a hinge door option or something like that. Other product options would be in a commercial application, maybe, or a pool area could be an overhead door or something like that. But you want to make sure that depending on the valued option here, that you have actual real data and not simulated data. Project delivery and hardware. So here on the bifolding system, you have different types of hardware and the tracks. So you have the option for a water barrier track or a flush track here. You have the option for a head load or bottom load option. So that depends on the actual size of the unit, therefore how much of weight per panel you would be looking at. So for instance, I always like to recommend that top hungs in a particular application, whether it's new construction, of course, is easier because you have all the weight at the head. Depending on that size of that particular unit, you could be looking up to 265 pounds per panel. If you have a retrofit project or like a remodel project, and say, for instance, you can't have a header for all of that weight, you maybe have to go to a bottom load option, and depending on that size of the unit, you could be looking up to 175 pounds. Again, you have that option for the flush or the water barrier sill, as I mentioned. And with bifolding systems, they're a single track unit. Heavy duty hardware and security. So if you have a personnel door or a daily door, more than likely you have a key entry. So that particular system would be keyed. So therefore you have the extra security there as your panels are also into a locked position. And depending on the size of the unit, you could have heavy duty hardware or just regular standard hardware, depending on the size. Again, on project delivery and the life cycle costs. So when you're meeting with a client and you're going through the project planning phase of a particular client, you're looking at first cost, which is like budgetary cost. Your operating cost could be during construction, and that could also entail if you would have change orders throughout that particular project or later down the road. And your life cycle cost would be towards the end of the project or the finished project, and that would be your return on investment. You know, these particular systems are sometimes a little pricey. You know, it gives, like I said and mentioned before, it's that self-esteem boost there. And over time and long-term performance, you will get the life cycle cost of these particular systems down the road. Successful building and operable glass walls, the use of bold, innovative techniques to blend the indoors with the outside, such as multi-slide and bifold systems, make you happier and folks live better.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Heather. That was really great. So it looks like we do have some questions in the Q&A. We can go ahead and start answering some of those out loud. First, I noticed a logistical one. I just wanted to check with you before I answer about self-reporting credits. Amanda's asked if there's a particular code or if they should just use the course name. I just wanted to check if the most updated code was that WWS 100.
That one should be the one, yes. Or you could use the title.
Awesome, or the title. Cool. So I'll send that in a moment.
Okay.
Kathy asks, do you have Florida product approval or Miami-Dade NOAA for these glass walls?
At this time, we don't. We have worked with Miami-Dade before in the past, but we're in the process with the testing there. So that is, I'm very familiar with that. It's been in the works for quite some time.
Cool. And I actually, folks, I'm going to, while we talk about these questions, I'm going to put up a poll. If you can answer the poll questions, that's super helpful. Get some feedback on just your thoughts about today's presentation. All right. So yeah, feel free to fill out that poll as we keep answering these. All right, so the next one is, what are the operational differences between top hung versus bottom load? Can you feel this when you're using the doors?
I would say yes.
Yeah, I can jump in on this. This is Ty. Yeah, on the bifolds, when you utilize a top hung system, it's a much more forgiving system where you can manipulate the panels in any which direction. It flows very, very easily. When you go to a bottom load system, the advantage of a bottom load is you don't have to invest as much in the header. It's not loaded from the top. There's some utilization reasons for that, is whether it's a multi-story building or it's a particular project or remodel where the loading that header is not really an option. So there is a particular way in which you open and close those panels to make it easy. You basically have to shift the panels in unison. You can't just pull a lead panel out and pull the lead panel because it would bind. But it operates well if you do it properly. So just a little bit of slight training and it operates flawlessly. But if somebody is not aware of it and they just pull the leaf and start pulling it, it could bind. So yeah, that's a good question.
Great. Awesome. Thanks, Ty. Next one is, what is the cost difference per square foot between bifold versus sliding or bipart window walls? If you know that off the top of your head.
That's a tough one. Our products, square footage, that's typically, a lot of times that's done with fixed windows and commercial. Square footage on like just say a bifold unit can really throw you off, because if you have a larger bifold, it goes into a heavier duty hardware, which is dramatically more money. Or let's say you pick a custom color opposed to a standard color, that could throw it off. So it's hard to give a square footage, but say the difference between, we'll give a general concept here, the difference between a bifold versus a sliding bipart window. So a sliding door system would be less money than a bifold door system. And the reason behind that is sometimes you say, well, it's the same amount of aluminum glass. The key factor is the hardware. the cost of the hardware of bifold is tremendous. And so that's where bifolds will come out as more money than a sliding or a multi-slide door.
Great. All right. How tall can you go with the operable panels?
That's also a kind of a double. Sometimes to get the 100% answer to that is we need to understand where it's going and what's the design pressure requirements. But offhand, we have two different series. We have a classic series multi-slide that we comfortably go up to 12 foot tall, 70 square foot panels. And then with our performance line, we can go up to 14 foot tall. And in certain isolated circumstances, I've seen them up to 16. It just depends on where it's at, design pressures. And we have engineers in-house that can analyze the project to let you know what we can do to make sure that your project is taken care of. But we do some of the largest in the industry, period. So if you have big ones, definitely reach out to us.
So cool. Just going to mention one thing, since I know some folks start to trickle out during the Q&A, that we do have a post-event survey as well. That's another really helpful place. If y'all can fill that out either at the end of today's webinar or in the post-event email, you'll get a link to that as well. That just helps us gather some feedback about how this event went, helpful for us in the future as well. And if you have any questions for either the Western Window Systems team or for Acelab's team that you think of after the event, post-event survey is a great place to put those as well. Okay, cool. So the next one, this is interesting. Are there any studies that you know of showing how these systems improve happiness?
There's a particular one from the University of Texas. I don't know. It was listed in the bottom on one of the slides. There are a couple of case studies out there.
Cool. Awesome. And then let's see, is there a formula for deflection at the head based upon the opening width?
There's not a particular formula, but different manufacturers have their own recommendations. As far as our deflector in the header, we typically like, no deflection in the header, right? But sometimes there will be some later because, things kind of shift and move over time, right? So I would say about 1/8 of an inch would be the maximum of any kind of deflection in the header.
Cool. Great. And then are the glass folding walls fire rated?
None of our products are actually fire rated. I've had that question before. So yeah. Unfortunately, things are going to happen during a fire. So
all right, cool. Where are the windows manufactured?
Out in Phoenix, Arizona.
Great. I like this comment. Someone says, I'm always happier outdoors. I agree.
Me too.
Okay, this one from Anthony. You showed a slide of triple glazed casement window. Are there triple glazed glass walls available? And approximately what do they weigh? And are there limitations to size?
So Cardinal IG is our glass partner that we partnered up with. They're 30 miles north of us from Phoenix. They're out in Buckeye. So that's who we use as far as our glass goes. So their maximum sizes are 96 by 144 is typically like a slab of glass. So triple pane is just one of those things to where, you have layers of glass. So as long as you stay within the realm of the size that Cardinal provides, you should be able to have a triple pane option, a dual pane option. You can have that additional I-89 option, which is that indium extra layer of silver in there. They do provide all those options. As far as the weight, it would depend on the size of the unit. So within our quoting system and our quotes, the actual weight, if it's a complete job, it will list out the total of the weight, or I don't remember if it's per line, that would also give you the weight total. So it would just depend on the unit.
Great. Awesome. Okay. And it's like we've got one more that we can answer live. Do you find that pocketing systems get cost prohibitive on the structural side, assuming the header would have to span the full length of the wall and the pockets?
Well, that having that pocket is just extra costs and materials anyway. So there's a little bit more in dimensions of being able to pocket that actual system in there. So it can tend to be more costly
And we can
than
follow up
just
with
stacking. Yeah.
we can follow up on details with that, because the actual pocket is to the interior of an existing wall. The pocket is not part of the actual structure. It's to the interior, and it's basically boxed out to the interior of a wall. So the framing itself to the exterior is not manipulated.
Okay.
And then you have the option too of exposing, having an exposed pocket to where you don't have to have the interior of that pocket. It can actually, you can actually stack the panels and see the panels. We've had projects in the past where, you know, they've had exposed pockets too. So it depends on, you know, the customer's preference.
Cool. Okay, and we've got a few more coming in, so since we've got time, and I also wanted to quickly mention for folks who are left here, yeah, if you want to follow up with Western Window Systems teams after the event to get more specific product information, feel free to let us know that on the post-event survey. I believe we ask you that directly there. So we'll get you set up with someone who can answer all of your technical questions. And again, on Acelab, you can, you know, find Western Window Systems products and request product data directly through the site as well. So yeah, there's lots of ways to get back in touch with us afterwards to learn more about all this stuff. Okay, so from Preston, are there any folding or sliding glass wall systems that provide automated systems for hands-free operation?
We do have some partners that have partnered up with our distributors. There are 3 companies out there that do have automation that have worked on our systems before. Bifolding does not have the option as far as automation, but we do have multi-slide. So we do actually have, in Phoenix, Arizona, we have a full showroom of all of our products, and actually on one of our conference room areas, we have automation in there. We have 2 different companies, and so you are able to automate on multi-slides.
Cool. Great. All right, and then we've got one follow-up about the header deflection. Is there a way to accommodate that if the slab above deflects? In this case, is the bottom supported system better than the top hung if the slab deflects?
It's a good question.
Yeah, I'm loving all these very technical questions from the crowd.
Yeah, I think that would be based on the, to me, that's more of a question for like an engineer type application. Or, you know, depending on the actual installer that has had years and years of experience could probably answer that more. I just know that it just depends on each project is different.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think, you know, at that it's you know, when we build our products, you know, we can't have the structure deflecting into the head, basically. Beyond as far as how to design the project not to do that. You know, we maybe need to defer that to the structural engineer.
Okay, cool. All right. So that looks, oh, we've got one more. Does your system allow to install a 5 to 6 foot by 14 foot tall pivot door?
5 or 6 foot to, what was the height again?
14 foot.
14 foot.
Yeah, we have to check with engineering. I mean, we just did the IBS show in Las Vegas, and we had a 6 foot by 12 foot.
But
to get to the 14, we just need to evaluate where it's going and some of the little bit more detail about the project. But we'd love to talk more about it. But 12, I know, was pushing us pretty good. It performed perfectly. It opened about 1,000 times throughout the show this past week in Las Vegas. But it was like over 6 feet, 12 feet tall, and worked flawlessly. So we can evaluate the 14 footer.
Cool, great. And as you brought that up, that reminds me of another thing to kind of mention to folks. So yeah, if you have projects that you're, you know, looking into getting answers for, or project-specific questions about any of these products. Uploading a project on Acelab is a great way to get started with saving these products, requesting more information, and organizing that all under your project. And as I showed at the beginning, you can communicate directly with Western Window Systems team. So yeah, if you want to upload your project to Acelab and communicate directly with Ty over there about the further project details, that's a great place to do that. And let's see, I think that looks like all our questions for now. So we've got 5 minutes left if anyone wants to sneak one in, or we can just let you all go a few minutes early. Yeah, looks like I think we're good. So again, post-event survey, if you've got any outstanding questions or need to get in touch with someone from our team or from Western Window Systems team, that's a great place to do that. I have a poll up right now about Acelab demos. So if you want to sign up with me to just do a quick session about how to use our site, feel free to do that as well. And thank you all so much for joining today. This was really great and fun. Thank you, Heather and Ty, for presenting and all your help with these questions. Yeah, this is really great. All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Cool. All right. And we'll let everyone go 4 minutes early. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Thanks.